When her owner had a heart attack, a pot-bellied pig ran into the road, lay down, and played dead to flag down a car. A testament to animal intelligence and loyalty, this is the story of Lulu and the deep, silent pact she made with her human, Joanne. Settle in for their journey. If you believe in the power of these stories, a simple like helps our channel immensely. Now let us enter their world. It was a small, quiet mobile home in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, a world of peaceful routine shaped by two unlikely roommates. Ann Altsman, a woman whose heart was as big as the challenges life had thrown at her, found comfort in the steady presence of her Vietnamese pot-bellied pig. Not just a pet, Lulu was a family member, possessing an intelligence and emotional depth that constantly surprised Joanne. She had the run of the place, this gentle, 150-pound creature, grunting her opinions and demanding her snacks with the utmost authority. Their days were measured not by clocks, but by shared naps, afternoon walks, and the soothing sounds of Joanne's television. It was a perfectly imperfect life, one they both cherished. But that small, quiet world held a ticking clock. Joanne had health struggles, a fragile heart that required careful living. Lulu, sensing the rhythm of her human, became an unofficial sentinel. She was acutely attuned to Joanne's moods, her breathing, the smallest shift in her behavior. It was late one summer evening when the familiar, comforting rhythm shattered. Joanne, alone and far from help, was suddenly struck by a massive coronary. The pain was immediate, overwhelming, a searing force that stole her breath and her ability to move. She managed only one desperate thought, one choked-out whisper to the only soul nearby, "Go, Lulu, go get help." The world went silent, then dark. The crisis had arrived. The little mobile home, usually a haven of calm, became a tomb of silence. Joanne was unconscious, and the gravity of the situation settled instantly upon Lulu, the 150-pound hero now tasked with the impossible. She nudged her human, a soft, worried push with her snout, but there was no response, only shallow, erratic breathing. Lulu understood. This was not a nap. This was a desperate need for the help that Joanne had barely managed to request. Lulu knew one thing. To reach help, she had to leave the sanctuary of the home. This massive animal, who had only ever encountered the safe, fenced-in yard, was now driven by a powerful, singular purpose. She rammed the flimsy screen door with her powerful shoulder, tearing it from its frame. The outside world, the busy, dangerous world of speeding cars and indifferent strangers, lay before her. She headed straight for the closest source of hope, the main road. The transition from a quiet living room to a chaotic stretch of asphalt was jarring. Cars whizzed by at highway speed, the drivers oblivious to the small, terrified creature now, standing on the shoulder. Lulu paced, grunting, trying to communicate the urgency in a language no one could understand. She tried to run alongside the cars, but they were too fast, too loud, and too focused on their own destinations. Despair must have been a crushing weight, but Lulu's loyalty was heavier. She remembered what a helpless animal often does. The pot-bellied pig made a profound, intelligent calculation. If she couldn't outrun the danger, she had to become the danger. She waddled into the middle of the road. A car approached, brakes squealing as the driver swerved to avoid hitting her. Lulu didn't move. She lay down flat, her massive body a sudden, immovable, and perplexing obstacle. She began to emit a distressed, high-pitched squeal, a sound of mortal injury. She was, in the ultimate act of desperation, playing dead. The first two cars ignored the unusual scene, drivers simply swerving around the seemingly wounded pig. Lulu persisted, staying in the road, the air thick with the smell of rubber and the roar of engines. It was an act of raw animal courage fueled entirely by love. It was dangerous, reckless, and brilliant. Then a flicker of humanity. A young man named Keith Wampler was driving by and saw the bizarre spectacle, a pig lying completely still in the center lane. He pulled over, his curiosity overcoming his annoyance. He approached the animal cautiously, expecting the worst. As he knelt, ready to move the distressed pig, Lulu suddenly stopped, playing dead. She popped up, gave a frantic grunt, and then started running back towards the mobile home, looking back repeatedly to ensure he was following. Keith, utterly bewildered, followed the animal. What he found when he walked through the torn screen door was not the punchline of a joke, but a genuine life-or-death emergency. Joanne lay pale and still on the floor. Keith immediately called 911. Lulu had done it. She had defied instinct, endured fear, and used a complex, learned behavior to trick a stranger into following her. She lay down next to Joanne, offering a soft, comforting presence as the paramedics arrived. It was the culmination of an unbelievable 8-year bond, a friendship that proved true intelligence is measured by the length of one's heart, not the size of one's brain. The arrival of the paramedics was swift. As Joanne was stabilized and prepared for transport to the hospital, Lulu remained faithfully at her side, a bulky pink shadow refusing to move. They tried to usher the pig away, but Lulu's loyalty was absolute. She watched every movement, her worried eyes locked on the stretcher, carrying the only human she truly trusted. Joanne was eventually stabilized and spent weeks recovering, but the story didn't end there. It became a phenomenon. The news spread quickly, the improbable tale of a pig's desperate, life-saving deception. Lulu's intelligence and devotion transcended the barrier between species, moving people all over the world. She received ribbons, medals, and endless treats from appreciative neighbors. She became an ambassador for the profound, often underestimated emotional intelligence of animals. When Joanne finally returned home, the reunion was joyous, filled with happy, demanding grunts and gentle snorts. Their quiet life resumed, but with a renewed depth of appreciation. They both knew silently that their bond had been tested by fire and found to be unbreakable. The persistent, desperate act in the middle of a Pennsylvania road taught us a timeless truth about love and loyalty. The deepest acts of courage are often silent, unexpected, and utterly unconditional. Love requires no common language, only an understanding that transcends words. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Before you scroll away, tell me this. Do you believe a bond like theirs could really exist? If this story touched your heart, drop a 1 in the comments so I know you're still with me. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might just remind you that sometimes the wild loves us back in ways we'll never forget.